So I watched this movie about Brenda Song's husband terrorizing a nice, totally straight, childless middle-aged duo the other night. I know, very millennial coded. Anyways, the movie follows an 8-year-old boy. We'll call him Kevin. They do as well in the movie, but I'll also call him that. Anyways, Kevin was left home alone, which I guess is obvious because that's the name of the movie. What happened next was basically movie studios in 1990 getting kids ready for the inevitable release of the Saw franchise, as this young lad terrorizes and quite honestly nearly commits double manslaughter against these two poor men. So you might be wondering where this kid's parents are, or why nobody is around to help him, or why they made a third and arguably worse version of this movie starring Max Keeble. Today, I'll explore those topics and more. And not just because I have nothing better to do. So to understand Home Alone is to understand that there's a lot of stuff that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense. I guess that's movie magic. Not special effects or the happiness you feel watching, but pulling a rabbit out of the hat as you try and trick moviegoers. A bit like this video so far, it's incoherent. Before getting into the traps which you all love, first we need to understand the premise. Basically, this kid is left home alone after sleeping in the attic. His cousin brother, that's real life brother and on-screen cousin, wanted to do water sports, but poor Kevin was like. Then his mom, played by Ginger Catherine O'Hara, forgets him after sleeping in. A classic tale of child endangerment that would get someone on Twitter cancelled in the modern day for even suggesting. The first hole is that Kevin is home alone by himself, but nobody can help or get to him. The phone lines are down after a tree branch falls on them, but they do work locally. Just not long distance. This is a problem because all his parents have is distance calling from Paris. They frantically call the cops and they're like, damn dude, I guess we can send someone over, but he's really lazy and will just knock a couple times and leave. Even with the call that an 8-year-old boy is alone inside of there and could like drown in the bath or something. This premise is already a bit suspect because Old Man Marley, the street's resident serial killer who salted his driveway and sidewalk with their tears and bones while getting off scot-free, is right next door. We know this because in the ending, Kevin looks out the side window, seeing Old Man Marley reaping the soul of a young ginger girl just like he did to the rest of his family decades prior. He would surely realize the family is gone. Seeing that he's outside in almost every scene and old people wake up early, so he would have noticed the American Airlines transport vans outside their house loading up luggage and people. He also saw Kevin at the drugstore a little bit later, slamming his bloodied hand on the counter with big bug eyes as if that wouldn't terrify a child. But we forgive him because he has no real experience with children after his son revoked access to his only grandchild. I'm starting to feel like this old man is really the villain of the story, but let me know in the comments if he's getting off too lightly or if he should be held accountable. Kate and her husband Peter also don't have anybody else to help them. All the neighbors are out shopping and I guess won't be coming back home, even though we see later Kevin walking by a party his neighbors are having. Never thought to say, hey guys, my parents are gone and so is my entire extended family. And his parents never left a frantic and screaming voicemail on their cassette answering machine, begging for help that they could listen to after coming home from shopping, but I digress. So now, we get to the meat and potatoes, and that's a nice butch couple who come by to rob the place. They've already robbed Kevin's neighbors, and even though that entire area of Chicago is rich Ave, they've decided to only hit this one single street. Okay, fine. They try and hit Kevin's house, knowing the family is gone in France, only to get scared away when they think somebody is actually home. They then find out it's just this little kid home alone and they never stop to think, damn, maybe we should skip this house because getting burglary charges is one thing, but charges against a child will be pretty bad for us. Self-preservation is not their strong suit. After finding out it's just a kid, they decide let's definitely hit this house up, but they don't know little Jigsaw is inside and is about to set comical traps that leave literal scars and destruction all over and across their soft, cheese and beer-filled Midwestern bodies. Now, I'm not going to get into the physics of things or the injuries sustained too in depth. I'm not a doctor or scientist, obviously given the fact I'm making this low-rent video instead of driving my Ferrari, but I will touch on the fact that Kevin is somehow able to draw a scale model of his house in markers and plan a bevy of traps within a small space of time. Like, he literally has a couple of hours to make this entire thing happen after leaving the church, the one with that old man in it who must know Kevin is alone in that house and does nothing about it, and draws this entire thing, gathers supplies, and starts into action. Fair play to the little tyke. After overhearing Harry and Marv say they'll arrive at 7 o'clock, they do, right on time. Their plan likely succeeding if they had come like half an hour earlier when Jigsaw was still smearing tar on his basement steps, a move that would never be able to be cleaned or explained to his parents when they came home and realized part of their house was destroyed and in such an odd way. The dastardly duo decide to go in through the rear, which is normal for them, but little Kevin was ready. There he stood with his BB gun, ready to prevent Harry from ever having children and to give Marv a concussion with a shot to the forehead. Fun fact, that BB was actually hand-drawn on cel and animated in, not CGI or real. The duo then make their next big blunder, and that's by splitting up. You see, neither one of them are very smart. Some might even call them inept. They easily could have busted through the kitchen door and taken Kevin down. And that would be lights on the film. Kate and Peter would never forgive themselves. The wet bandits would never likely get caught, and the third film never would have been made. Yes, I'm still annoyed by that. So now we get to the traps. Arguably the best part of the film. The climax, the crescendo, the pinnacle of slapstick tomfoolery in the modern age. Before we do, if you'd like to see me do these poorly explained deep dives into other films or TV series, let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe so the algorithm takes pity on me, and I'll see you in the next one. Instead of breaking in the frail kitchen door with a bunch of single pane glass, Harry decides to go around front. There he slips on ice and nearly snaps his neck and grabs onto sadism counter number 1, the molten hot doorknob with a giant M on it, which obviously stands for might want to run now before you become a statistic. It was too long to fit on the brass, so they just shortened it. Marv destroys his tailbone, slipping and falling down a flight of steps leading to the recessed basement entrance before his trusty crowbar falls on top of him. But I guess neither of those things are that bad. When he finally gets inside, the door being unlocked the entire time because Kevin knew one man would enter and none would exit his little basement of horrors, he sees a string hanging down to turn on a light. Squinting, he pulls it, a clothes iron falling down the laundry chute and smacking him directly in the face. Now, he has an imprint of an iron on his face, but we never find out if that's from the impact alone or if little Kevin accidentally left the iron on and hot after pressing his little pleated dockers. Harry goes back to the kitchen door that he should have started at the entire time, and instead of being pissed off and breaking down the door, decides to open it slowly. Which is the second time within the span of a few minutes his body gets branded with third-degree burns. Yeah, a blowtorch ignites and lights his bald little head on fire, singing every hair into oblivion. At this point, Marv is literally feet from Harry, and neither one of them hear the other scream or be brutalized and tortured, before Marv sees black tar-covered steps and thinks, yeah, that's a bit of me, only to have a nail, arguably the only one in the entire staircase, pierced through his foot, causing massive nerve damage and a necessary ER visit that never comes. At this point, you'd think these two would give up. What in the hell could possibly be in this house that would be worth this much torture without really even getting inside? There are so many rich houses around, but Harry and Marv are tortured by something that gets the best of us, and that's the sunk cost fallacy. They've already spent so much time in torture trying to rob this house, so why would you leave now? Harry breaks down the kitchen door before walking into saran wrap coated in lube and getting feathered, which honestly is a lame trap. Marv sees an open window, which somehow they both missed on their way in, and sneaks in barefoot before stomping his feet down without looking. There were ornaments there, obviously. The pair slip on micro machines, literally get their teeth knocked out by swinging paint cans. And one of the funniest scenes of the entire franchise happens when Marv has a tarantula placed on his face and lets out this scream. It's funny because Marv also lies on the floor while holding on to the bottom of Kevin's little dockers, even though he isn't bound and can just stand up and put the kid into a headlock. But Marv also just suffered multiple bouts of severe head trauma. So I can forgive this transgression. We see Kevin zipline to a treehouse, run to his neighbors, who still have their water running, now flooding their entire house and into the basement. And Kevin runs up the stairs only to be outsmarted by these wet bandits. This is where things get a little tricky. Remember that old man from earlier? The one who stole the soul of that poor ginger girl? Turns out, he's been watching from behind a tree or something the entire time. Two grown men try and kill this little kid, and he sneaks in behind them, his boot squishing on the waterlogged carpet, before smacking them both in the back of the head with the same shovel he uses to spread the ashes of his family earlier in the film. He then carries Kevin out. The cops come, and announce that since Marv left the water running in every house they burgled, they are about to face a laundry list of charges that will keep them in prison for a very long time, or at least until the studio greenlights another film to come out 2 years later. I know I didn't touch much on Kevin's family, but quite honestly, who cares? They seem like they're just here as a plot device, and most of them are background characters to tell the story of the youngest child being treated like their mutt. Buzz is pretty cool because he looks like if Master Splinter got turned into a teenage boy, but that's about it. John Candy is in the movie, doing 23 hours of straight filming and for basically no money as a favor to John Hughes. And yeah, that's almost the entire film. We never figure out if Kevin's family find out about the burglary or the fact their child was almost slaughtered, even though the old man next door knows of everything that happened and I guess keeps it a secret. Not sure why he wouldn't tell the parents or allude in the next film to the fact that their basement door was destroyed by a crowbar, their steps are covered in tar, and how an 8-year-old was able to clean the entire house of spent traps before his parents got back home. If you'd like to see me do these poorly explained deep dives into other films or TV series, let me know in the comments below. Please like and subscribe so the algorithm takes pity on me, and I'll see you in the next one.